Hi everyone, welcome! Today we're making a delicious biryani recipe from South India called Ambur Biryani. It's a small town from the south of India and it's famous for a certain kind of biryani. Biryani being a dish made with rice and meat and a lot of spices cooked all together. Biryanis are very famous in India, and the biryani we are making today is using boneless mutton that I have washed really well to remove all of the blood. I have marinated it in a little bit of turmeric, just rubbed turmeric onto it, and that's what we'll be using. I have about 1.5 pounds of boneless mutton. The rice is a very special rice. It's not basmati. It is a short grain rice called siraga samba that is very typical of this kind of biryani. 3 cups of siraga samba rice. Onions, I have 1/2 pound of red onions that I've sliced. 1/3 pound of tomatoes sliced, small Roma tomatoes. A handful of mint leaves and cilantro that I've chopped. We're also using about 1/2 to 1/4 cup of thick sour yogurt. We have some red chilies here and some poppy seeds, which is very typical of the Ambur biryani. So we'll be soaking these 2 ingredients in some hot water while we start cooking our onions, and once it's soaked we're going to make a nice thick paste. I have some clarified butter or ghee, a lot of whole spices, so some green cardamoms, cloves, a star anise, couple, a small piece of cinnamon and a bay leaf, the juice of 1 lemon or lime, a couple tablespoons of ginger garlic paste, and that's about it. So let's get started by soaking our ingredients. So I have some hot water on the stove here that I brought to a boil. I'm going to add the poppy seeds in a bowl along with the chilies, and we're going to pour some of the hot water over it. The poppy seeds are extremely tiny seeds and they can be hard to grind unless soaked well. So we're going to set that aside. Now on the pan, I have some oil that's heating. And we're going to start making our biryani base mixture. So I'm going to add the whole spices to it along with the bay leaf. Lightly fry that for a few seconds. You don't want your oil to be too hot or your spices can pop. To this I'm adding the sliced onions. We're going to cook this down nicely. Break it up as you fry it. You want it nice and well cooked. We're going to cook this down till it's nice and brown. 3 to 4 minutes. So my onions have fried down nicely. If you can see this, nice and dark brown. And it's actually a little crispy. This lends really wonderful flavor and color to the biryani. So I'm ready to add my next ingredient, which is going to be the chilies and the poppy seeds that I was soaking here. So we have to grind that to a fine paste, and dried red chilies can be hard to grind, and that is why we soaked it in some hot water. I'm going to add that here. And the poppy seeds have actually swollen a little bit. That's good. It has softened and swollen. I'm going to add the ginger garlic paste to this. A couple pieces of tomato and the yogurt. Some of the yogurt. Okay. So we'll get that into a nice smooth paste. nice yogurty paste here. I'm going to now add that to a pan. Along with the tomatoes and the rest of the yogurt. I'm going to fry this nicely before we add our mutton. And while we do that, some of the mint and the cilantro, so we get that cooking and you get a nice aroma. So we've got to give this a few minutes to cook down. Our tomatoes have cooked down nicely. And we're ready to add the mutton and stir it in along with some lemon and the rest of the chopped mint leaves and the cilantro. Give it a good stir. I can actually smell the leaves cooking. It's already beginning to smell like biryani. I'm going to add a little of the ghee here. What we want to do is fry the mutton a little bit. This might need a little salt. I'm going to add a wee bit of salt. Good, okay. Now we're ready to start cooking this mixture, and I'm going to use an electric pressure cooker or an Instapot to cook the rest of our biryani through. So I'm going to add this to my electric cooker here. Traditionally, with this kind of biryani, the rice is cooked separate from the meat. We are using an instant pot or an Instapot to get the same flavors, which is just easier than cooking it separately and layering it. Get all of that tomato and onion and red chili paste masala. And to get this cooking, I'm going to add a cup of water to the pan. And add that in there. So we're going to get this going. Turn it on. Okay, the rice option, I'm going to cook it for less, and we're going to get our... My mutton is cooked. I'm going to try and open the Instapot. Okay, we have to let the steam out. And let me just use a spoon here and show you what it looks like. All cooked with some additional water. So now at this point we're just gonna add our soaked rice. So I washed and soaked the rice. So when the mutton was cooking in the cooker, I soaked the rice. And to it I'm going to add about 4 cups of water, which is less than 1.5, because we've had it soaking and there's additional water there. So you know your rice well, how much of water it needs. So we are going to add just as much as the rice needs. And finally, some chopped cilantro on top. The rest of the lemon. And I did add some salt into the water already. You want to taste for salt, however, to make sure it's fine. Just bring everything in here. Give it a light stir, so you have the rice mixing with the mutton and the mixture here, the liquid. Salt is a little less, so we're going to add some more. Remember, you want your rice to taste salty because you need enough salt. I'm sorry, you want your water to taste salty because you need enough water for, you need enough salt for the rice too. The rest of the melted ghee or clarified butter. We're gonna cover it and get the rice cooking in the rice mode. My Instapot tells me that it's done. I've vented the steam out and we're ready to open it. And let's serve. Just gonna fluff up the rice. As you can see, it's a really short grained rice that we've used here. The meat is tender. Now it is going to look a little moist because it's just coming out of the cooker. Give it some time and it should fluff up and dry out a bit. Let me just dig it out and serve on a plate here. A little more. The meat is really tender and it's falling apart. Beautiful, delicious. Look at that. This is the Ambur style biryani that you can get from just using an Instapot. It quickens the process and the results are very close. Delicious. And if you like it spicy, just increase the number of red chilies, the dry red chilies that you soak and brine. You can increase that. So now we've served it and you can, just before eating, squeeze some lemon on or lime juice and you're ready to eat. Ambur style mutton biryani in an Instapot with boneless mutton is ready for you to enjoy.